Today I'm very excited to report that I've reached a new all-time high rating on Chess.com Rapid. Now in this video there's going to be two parts. The first part is going to cover the game that got me there. Not a perfect game, some mistakes by both players, which makes it interesting. And in the second part I'm going to share some reflections on the training that I've been doing recently that's helped me reach this new rating high watermark. You can use these tips to help improve your own play as well. So let's get into the game first. I had the white pieces and we started with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. I go for d4, this is the Scotch opening, and we get the capture on d4. All this is normal, and black decides to go for knight to f6. Now there's a couple of other moves that black can try here. You could also play bishop to c5, this is known as the classical variation. And the main moves see this tension on d4. That's the start of that variation. Another option, which was tried recently at a over-the-board tournament, is queen to h4. This is known as the Steinitz variation, and it is tricky if you don't know how to meet it. But in my classical over-the-board game, I proved that I did know how to meet it. Knight to c3. Bishop to b4 is tough to face if you don't know what you're doing, because now this knight is pinned and the threat is to capture on e4 from black. But after bishop to e2, you actually allow that capture, and then you follow up with knight to b5 with a threat on c7, which is pretty tough for black to meet. Black actually has to play king to d8 here to defend that pawn. Anyway, that's not how the game that I played today continued. Instead, we had knight to f6, and we go for this crazy theoretical line known as the Mises variation. Yeah, this gets really wild because in the main line, black pins this pawn, so you can't capture the knight immediately. White plays queen to e2, renewing the threat to take the knight. Then the knight comes over to d5, and then you hit the knight again. And in one line, you can get bishop to a6. So now you can't take the knight because of the pin against the white queen. And so like everything is pinned, it's difficult for either side to develop. These two queens are a bit awkward. Instead in the game we had knight to b6, just getting out of trouble straight away. But anyway, knight to c3, bishop to a6, and then b3. Both the queens move away to allow the light squared bishop and the dark squared bishop respectively to move for white and black. And then we get this pin against the knight. If you're enjoying this video so far, by the way, go ahead and hit subscribe to the channel. I do all kinds of content on chess, and by subscribing you won't miss out on any of the future videos that I'm preparing. Now this pin, I don't want to allow that to continue, so I play bishop to d2. And then we get d6 from my opponent, which I assume is just simply a blunder because it leaves the c6 pawn undefended. And look at my opponent's rating here, 2078, and he still misses something like this. Well, I captured on c6, and now the king moves away. And now it becomes quite complicated because, well, this pawn is available for black to capture with check if it was black's move. So I've got to work out how to continue here. The best move, it turns out, is to play f4, just simply reinforcing this pawn. But I didn't play that. Instead I just wanted to develop as quickly as I could, letting go of this pawn because, well, I think I've got some additional compensation. Black did take here, but since black hasn't been able to castle their king, I was able to go ahead with king to c2, and that way the knight on c3 is defended. So we get queen to a5, looking to ramp up the pressure perhaps. Maybe the threat is to take the knight and then to take the pawn on a2. And now the crazy line which the computer suggests is a3. Very tough move to spot, just simply giving up the pawn. If you take with the bishop, there's a nasty discovered attack here against the black queen, as well as the threat of taking here. It gets quite wild, as you can see, right? The king for white doesn't look exactly safe either, but yeah, anyway, this is much better for white, suffice to say. Just take a look at the evaluation bar. If you take the knight, then, well, there's a lot of different stuff that's wrong with that. You can take the queen, you can take the rook. So yeah, lots of threats there for black to deal with. And after a3, if you take with the queen instead, then it's just saying, well, you play bishop to d3, and I guess you could take the knight and then give one check, but that's handled by bishop to b2. Computers see everything, huh? Now, if you'd like to play complicated, exciting chess, just like we are showcasing in this game, I help ambitious adult improvers reach their goals in chess. So if you'd like to explore working together, click the link in the description below. It's in the pinned comment or at the top of the description, and we can see if working together will be a good fit. But let's get back to the game. What we had instead was queen to a5, and I played knight to a4. The idea of this is to, well, block the threat against a2, which black had in some lines, but also to tempt black into capturing with this knight. I mean, if he takes the knight on a4, then I take the rook. And that's exactly what happened, actually. He took on a4. So my opponent's got a high rating, but this wasn't his best game, let's say. I captured on a8, and now that's a capture with check. Now the king steps away, it has to. And now I had to think a bit, because although I've just won material by capturing here, and I can win even more material by capturing this rook, I do have to be a little bit careful here, because there are 3 black pieces, or even 4 if you count this bishop, swarming around my rather shaky looking king. So what I decided to play here was not to take the rook that was on offer, and to play instead queen to e4. This is an okay move, but even better was not to take on h8, but to give this check first. Now I saw this move, of course, you look at the checks, but I thought, well, the king is actually quite safe on d7. If I take this rook, then you have to worry about, well, what happens after you take the bishop. But I stopped my calculation one move too soon, because if you take the rook and you take here, I was worried about, well, I'm just getting too weak here around the dark squares, but white actually has checkmate and won here. So not my best effort at calculating that one. But anyway, that was the best line, and of course white is just winning on the spot there. Instead I played queen to e4 check. My idea was to just liquidate. This knight is still on pre, and I can take the bishop as well, and then I thought my king would be safe enough. So the black king steps away. I take off the dark squared bishop, and then I just was trying to work out, can I take this knight or not? And I thought that I could, and if I do, then I'm just a rook up. But I didn't quite calculate everything here. I did take the knight. Better instead was to just defend the dark squares. Now I am up the exchange, and you can slowly play something like bishop to d3, and yeah, black doesn't have any real ability to play a queen into here or eventually into here, because my own queen is guarding that. So yeah, I took the knight, and black's able to give this check. I thought I'd be okay after the resulting checks and I'd be able to escape, but actually black has the ability to force perpetual check and a draw here. Starting with queen to a3 check, so I've got to step away, and I can't step away here, of course, because then I would just get mated like this. So that's not possible. So I had to step over instead to d2, but now black was able to just keep giving checks with queen to b4. By the way, I also can't go to e2 because of rook to e8 with a skewer. So I would have actually just had to go back to c1, and there'd be a draw by repetition. But my opponent messed this up again, because after king to d2, he gave the check on b2 instead, and that allowed me to block with queen to c2. And now I'm able to get out of trouble. He can give one more check, but then I can develop my light squared bishop, and now the good checks are over for black. He can check here, but now the king is quite safe, and I'm just up a rook. So yeah, my opponent resigned in this position. With that result, I reached a new all-time high rating on Chess.com Rapid. So now I'm going to share exactly how I did it, the type of training that I've been doing recently, and just as importantly, the type of training that I haven't been doing, because there's an unlimited number of things that you can do to work on your chess, and none of us have an unlimited amount of time. So it's important to know what to focus on. If you'd like to know what to focus on, just a reminder that I help ambitious adults at the below 2000 ELO level reach their goals in chess. So if you'd like to explore working together, click the link in the description below. It's the pinned comment or at the top of the description, and we can see if working together will be a good fit. So here's what's been working for me recently. Number one, I played in a classical over-the-board chess tournament in Austria. Now, I don't live in Austria normally. I had to travel for this tournament. I had to jump on a plane. I had to book hotels. And because of this extra step to travel far away to play in a tournament, I was of course taking it very seriously. And so were my opponents. And this really is the best way to improve your chess, is to play these serious, slow games where both you and your opponent are giving it their best shot, right? Trying to stretch your chess skills to their absolute limit. In that tournament, 8 out of the 9 people that I faced had a higher rating than me. So this is the best way to improve your chess, to face stronger opponents and to stretch your skills that way. The second thing that I've been doing a lot of has been studying master games. I've been going through this book in particular, Logical Chess Move by Move. And right here on YouTube, I've been sharing those videos, and I'll link up to the playlist of the games that I've completed analyzing so far. So do check that out if you want to take a look at some of the instructive games from that book as well. I feel like this book has surprised me, honestly. Like, I thought before starting reading it that it was a beginner to intermediate level book. But even at the rating level that I'm at now, I'm getting a lot out of it. Learning lots. You can see how those master players think and try and build some of that into your own play as well. And the third major thing that I've been doing is something that I always do, which is tactics by repetition. Now, tactics by repetition is where you solve tactical exercises which you've seen before. So that's different from seeing a new puzzle which you have to solve from scratch. That second type of training where you're solving something new is meant to enhance your calculation abilities. But tactics by repetition trains something else. It's training your pattern recognition, the ability to see things more intuitively. Now, the effect that this has is that it reduces the number of blunders that you are likely to play in your games, and it also increases your ability to spot the simple tactics more quickly. Once you see these patterns over and over and over again, they start to become part of your muscle memory so that you can draw upon them at any time. So I haven't been doing any hard calculation training where you sit down with a puzzle for 10, 20 minutes to solve it from scratch. I mean, of course it would help, but as I said before, there's not an unlimited number of hours in the day. So I haven't been prioritizing that. I also haven't been learning anything new in terms of my opening repertoire. I think many players, when they face bad results, they blame their opening repertoire and they're too quick to want to switch to something new. But I've just kept my opening repertoire for now. I haven't been studying any new lines. I've just been sticking with my current repertoire, and that's freed up some time to focus on other areas of the game. I also haven't been doing any endgame study. Now, I know that there are certain gaps in my knowledge when it comes to the endgame, but it hasn't affected my results too much. I find that a lot of my games don't really reach the end game, so that's not the limit to my progress. I think it's important to think this way when you're trying to improve your chess. Think of, why are you losing? If it is the end game, then that's what you should study. But if it's something else, like if it's instead blunders, or if it's failing to spot tactical opportunities, then that's where you should put your emphasis in your training program. Want to keep improving your chess? Watch this video next. It's very instructive, you'll learn a ton, and you can use it to reach your next rating milestone.